Welcome to Creations by Karen. And today, I know it's only June, but we're going to talk about Christmas 2024. And for those of you who do craft shows, I think you might find this interesting. Okay. Now, I've been doing craft shows for a lot of years, and I'm not doing as many as I used to, but I think it's really important, whether you do small craft shows or large craft shows, that you come with an idea in mind. Yeah, I know. Yeah, Lexi doesn't know where to sit. So I made a list on one of these that I made. So I just kind of wrote down all the stuff that I think it's important, and it comes with a pen. I think if you want to know how to do this, you have to look at other crafts that I made in my lives. Okay, so when you're looking at Christmas craft shows, and I know it's only June, but you have to look ahead. Now, I still work full time, so only in the evenings and on the weekends now that I can make things for my craft show. Can't do it during the day, so if you're retired, you certainly can get a head start on everything. And what I do at the end of every season is sort of after Christmas, like the Christmas Boxing Day sales, I buy a whole lot of stuff. And I'll get to that in a second. Good morning, everybody. So I've kind of made my list here of things that I think are really important when you're doing Christmas craft shows. Okay, so the first thing is finding a show in your area or where you want to have your items like to sell. So what I like to do is I like to do shows that attract a whole lot of people. And I like to do well-established shows, so which means that they've been running for a lot of years. Now, I do the Lennon Christmas Craft Show, and it attracts people from all over, and it goes from Thursday to Sunday. And I would say it's my biggest craft show that I do. And I have to make a whole lot of stuff work because I have a really large booth. I have a booth that's 10 inches or 10 feet wide, but 20 feet long. So I need a whole lot of crafts to go inside that, and that's why I start in June. Good morning, everybody. Okay, so I like, now I don't do that as much, and I do another couple small shows, but we're going to talk about the large show that I do. So you like to plan your space. So what I do is I make a map, and I've done the same one for a couple of years, and I know it really works. So I just take a piece of paper and I draw out my space, whether it's a 10-foot space or a 15-foot space or a 20-foot space. And I like put where I want to put the tables and where I want to put decorations and risers and things like that. And I think the thing that you really need to remember is that you want to do things that are going to attract people to your booth. Now, the Lennon Christmas Craft Show that I do, it's a large craft show. There's 200 people there. So you want to be able to set yourself out from everybody else. And things that will draw people to your booth are things that are bright and lit. Okay, so I always make sure I put stuff along the top, and I put wreaths up there. But I don't do wreaths for a whole lot of wreaths like I did before. Kind of changed. But I think things that, once again, that will draw people to your space. Does that make sense? Okay. And then you decorate appropriately. So if you make wreaths, have your wreaths set out on your space that will draw people's attention to it. So I put wreaths along the top of my booth, and then I have lots of tables that I put other things there. Good morning, everybody. Hey, how are you? So I think it's really important when you do craft shows that you have things that will be at level with the eye, which means I have risers. So over the years, I've accumulated risers, and that is just, you can make them yourself. You can use shelving. You can make whatever you want. But I just like to have things that are eye level for people as you're walking by. Because if something is eye level, it will attract people. Lexi's got something in her hand, I don't know, in her mouth, I don't know what they are. It's going to attract people to your space. Say, what is that? And they're going to turn and look. So there's the thing. You make ahead as much as you can. And I'm going to show you some stuff that I'm going to make ahead. And always, if you're using perishable, not perishable items, but things like hot cocoa, that you check the expiry date on it, because it's not always going to be 2025. Good morning, Linda. Okay, I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so I got this Christmas tea. All right, and this is February 2025, so that'll work. Okay, so I can make something out of this tea, and this is what I've made from it. And everything in here, I looked at the expiry date. So these are things that you can make ahead and have prepared for your craft show. All right, because I gotta make a lot of stuff, and it's only June, I know, but I gotta make ahead. So this is tea that I've packaged, and this is great for people that are just buying for their coworkers, or their knitting group, or whoever. I'll show you some other stuff, and a really good place to buy all this stuff. Now, it sounds weird, but is at craft shows, or not craft shows, garage sales or yard sales. People are always selling stuff at yard sales, Christmas related, which is good for people that like me, but not good for them, I'm sure. So if you can take a wreath and tear it apart and make it your own, do that at a garage sale. This is another thing I bought at the end of last year, and I looked at the expiry date, and it is March 2025. And these are peppermint shot glasses, and I think I bought 10 of them. I don't know what I'm going to make with them, but stay tuned, because I'll make it with you. I bought these at, it could have been Walmart at the end of last season. And these are notepads, and they've got this on the back, which makes it magnetic, and it's got a pen, and I bought all I had, so I'm going to make something out of these. Once again, it's just stuff that I got like dirt cheap. I think I paid like 75% off. I think I probably paid less than $1 for each of these with the pen. So I'm going to make some stuff with that. I'll make it with you. Another thing I found were these stockings, and I made them and I got them at the end of the season. Dirt cheap, and they're good quality. And what I'm going to make with these, don't know. Once again, you got to tune in. This is something else I got at Walmart, and these mugs. And I really like to have price points $10 and less. So I'm going to stuff these mugs with stuff that I got for like dirt cheap at the end of last season. But like I said, always look at your expiry dates that you have on your items, right? Because the last thing you want to do is put expired stuff in here. I bought a lot of mugs. Lots of mugs. Oh yeah, I got these teas. Once again, look at the expiry date. I don't know what I'm going to do with them. We'll do it together. And this is what they look like. I tore one apart. And these are like just teas. So you can like take a mug and stick these inside a mug. Or put 2 of them in. I don't know. Yeah, but once again, I got these like 75% off. And it's got all sorts of different teas in it. I'm not a tea person, but I know they sell well. I think it's a really good idea to have something for kids. And if a lot of people, I'm going to probably make my booth primarily like stocking stuffers or small gifts for coworkers or, your mailman or whatever. But I always like to have something for kids, because a lot of people bring their kids to craft shows, and I think it's really important that you have something for them, and something that doesn't cost a lot of money. So once again, this is ones that I only have a couple left, but these are ones that I made last year. So it has crayons, coloring book, candy cane, yeah, and something that they can color, an ornament. Once again, if you have somebody that comes into your booth that has children, like young children, you can say, got something for you here. And that just allows their mom or whoever they're with to shop and keep them focused on something other than bugging the mother. This was something that I made ahead. And I did this last month kind of in Craft Central. And I got these rolling pins. I don't cook, so, rolling pins. But I had all this in my stash and I just decorated this rolling pin. This comes off and you're left with a rolling pin. So this could be something that you could make ahead. So you could just kind of have to search your stash and look for stuff. Hey guys, from Brockville, fellow Canadian. Good. Okay, I'm looking at my list. So when you're, like I said, when you're looking at design, make sure that you design it out ahead of time. If you just have a single table, and usually there's 6 or 8 feet, like set it up in your garage or your basement so you have it all ready to go and you know what you have and you know what you don't or need to make. Tablecloths. I think it's really important regardless of what show you're doing, and I think a lot of shows now like tablecloths on your table. It just looks a little bit more professional, and make sure that you have the tablecloths to the floor, and that way you can stuff stuff underneath of it. Now at the London show, I have a whole empty space behind me with curtains, so I can put a lot of my stuff under there because I have the tablecloths that fit sort of under the feet, so they're not hanging out, because it's just me, I don't like things that are flopping, if that makes any sense. Hey guys, how are you? So at the end of your table, you don't want them to see the stuff that's underneath, so always make sure you put something at the end of your table, whether you put a Christmas tree or a small Christmas tree, or I have big Christmas trees that go on the end of my table. My 20-foot space I set it up so it's kind of a square, and then I have something in the middle. So something in the middle is things that are going to attract people to your booth, and then I have my cash on one side. And I always like to say, wear an apron, and I got them on, I think, Amazon, and I put something like a reindeer or something on it, and I always have people in my booth as well. Because of that size of booth, I got to have more than one people, and thank gosh for those people last year. Yeah, you just put the apron on, and then you can carry your pens and paper and money or whatever. I always have a cash box, but it's always locked. So, and usually I like to keep somebody at the wrapping, which I call the wrapping station, which you have bags, and they're there with the cash box, because the last thing you want to do is have somebody walk away with your cash box. I've never had that done, but I can imagine it would be a little bit challenging. I like to price everything, and whether that's pricing on a basket, like you say these things are like, $1.50 or $2 each. I just have it on the front of the basket, or you can individually price them if you want, but you want to make sure that your pricing is clear, all right, and everybody knows that your pricing is on there, so they don't have to come up to you and say, how much is this, or whatever. It's very well documented. I price things. I'll say this table is $5 each, or 3 for $10, and I like to do that too, is have pricing that makes it a little bit, let's see, how can you say this? People will buy 3 if it's cheaper than buying 1 or 2. So if you're selling something for $5 each and they buy 2, it's 10, but if they buy 3, it's also 10. Yeah, so you get the drift. Yeah, and so you're going to promote. So you don't want to sit behind your booth. You want to get up and talk to people. Don't harass people. So just say, is there anything specific that you're looking for? They'll say, yeah, I'm looking for something for my daughter's teacher. We can have this that you can get for your daughter's teacher. This is really popular for teachers. So I think it's important to engage with the person, but don't harass the person. Key word, harass. No harassing allowed. I like to have nice bags for people. Now I had bags from the Western Fair District Market last year, and so that'll be great. Maybe I can ask Dan if I can have some today for that as well. And always just say, oh, here's a nice basket, bag you can take around with you if you're buying other things. So usually I say, I use reusable bags if I can, And if it's bigger than the purchase that they've made, I'll just say, here's a bag that you can put other stuff in. And they appreciate that. Most people in Canada now, especially in Ontario where we live, people, we don't have like plastic bags, and paper bags can be expensive for people who are starting out for craft shows. So I would just say try to get reusable bags if you can, and that way people can like put other stuff in there other than your stuff. Make sure something has your name and your contact information. So if you have a business card, put that on. I have sometimes flyers that I stick inside as well, that just says your name and how they can contact you, because maybe at the end of the craft show you could say, oh, I wanted to get stuff for my other 2 children's teachers and I didn't pick stuff up. They can call you and make that happen. That's important, especially if it's a large craft show. You're not going to be able to talk to everybody, but I think it's really important that, you know, they know there's a way to get a hold of you. Now, last year, I was able to say I have a booth at the Western Fair District Market. I'm looking at somebody who posted a long post here. Give me a second here. Now, let me see. Can't see that. Lynn, your best friend used to do yearly craft show where everything was under $5. Yeah, like the price point is important. So if you can buy things at the end of last year and so it's like 75% off or half price, you can sell it cheaper than the people around you if they're selling the same thing. So that's really important, is look for things that are on sale. Garage sale season is now. You can buy so much stuff at garage sales. It's a really good, thanks Lynn for offering that, and it's really important. Let's see here. What else does she say? People would swarm. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, like that's really important. Now, I've been doing the Linen Craft Show for a lot of years, and it goes from Thursday to Sunday. Sunday, I'm pretty much sold out of most stuff, so people know that if they're coming for specific things or buying something for their daughter's teacher or cousins or whatever, they come to my booth early in the craft show, like Thursday or Friday, because they know Saturday will be bedlam and Sunday will be sold out almost. Okay, so it's important that I think you have something to cover all 4 days. I know I do, but it just depends how many people show up, and it is like bedlam from start to finish at this craft show. Crazy number of people, which is great because it's well promoted. Let me see. I like I said, if I have something, I can just wrap it and put it in a bag. Or if they're just buying one thing and they don't need like a shopping bag or reusable shopping bag, I'll put it in a nice bag, and I get Christmas bags once again at the end of last season. Yeah, I know it's in Craft Central and there's stuff everywhere, but that I'm trying to get through it all. But yeah, so give them a small bag with wrap. I usually wrap a bow on the top of it, and that is just because not everybody is trustworthy, if you know what I mean. Okay, so people sometimes will put extra in their bag. We bought a multi-tiered rolling cart yesterday at a yard sale. Go to yard sales. This is the time for yard sales. If you're looking for something, like my street is having a yard sale, and I've gone into Craft Central. It's going to take me it's going to go to the garage sale is at the end of June, and honestly, there's so much stuff here. I'm going to have a hard time going through it. Once again, it's really important to have cards with your name on it and your contact information. And another thing I like to do is have a gift raffle. Okay, so I make something, and I have a lot of items from my craft show. Like I'll put like tea cozies in there, or whatever. I just put a lot of stuff in it, and then I have a ballot, and then I put it in a clear container so they can see how many ballots are in there. And then I make a draw at the end of the craft show. And I usually just do it for the London Christmas craft show. But you can do this small things for other craft shows. I'm losing my slipper. And that entices people to give you their contact information. Now I always put, do you want to be contacted for any other promotions that I might have? Yes or no. If they put no, I don't contact them. And if they put yes, I certainly will give them a heads up if I have a craft show coming. I would love to go back and do craft shows again, but my back just won't allow it anymore. I know it can be really hard if you have a back injury, Dawn. I feel for you. Hopefully my brain will be all better by craft show. Yeah, so I think that is all the things that I've written down about craft shows. Do you guys have any questions about craft shows? How to look for a good craft show is another question that people ask me. I like to do well-established craft shows, like this London Christmas craft show I've been doing for, gosh, I don't know, maybe 15 or 20 years. I don't know. And I knew from the very first time I went, there was so many people. I remember I just took Christmas ornaments, personalized Christmas ornaments, and it was insanity. I think I had 11 left, and I think I brought well over 3,000 ornaments to personalize. Now we've grown since that time. So yeah, yeah, just look in your area. Christmas craft shows are, I know that a lot of the big craft shows, they're already sold out for 2024. London Christmas Craft Show, I think, is sold out. And I do one in Lucan, which is outside of London, in November. Christmas Craft Show in London is the end of November. I think it's the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th of December. And I might do a couple of other ones, but I probably will just go to the market after the Christmas Craft Show. Best way to display multiple wreaths without costing too much. Think if you can not look, it's just like you just go on Marketplace, and what I do is get grid walls, and I have a grid wall that I can just piece together and put it on there. Also, if you have a booth, you can just get the coat wreath hangers. I have a lot of wreath hangers that I just hang my wreaths around the top. The snowman wreaths, that's really popular, and I hang them around the top. So that's something that you can do, is put for wreaths is a grid walls, or you know, those wreath hangers. The best shows are the ones that don't allow vendors, like vendors as in, like, I only do handmade craft shows. So I only do craft shows that 75% or 80% of the item is handmade craft shows. And that's really important, because everybody that goes to the craft show knows that those are handmade items. One of a kind deal. Yeah, that's really important for me, is that I'm not going to go to a craft show with, say, Tupperware or something. Okay, just me look here. Be sure to ask. Yeah, I think grid walls, and you can find them now. Just go on Marketplace. Yeah, you only do handmade craft shows if you make your crafts yourself. You're doing a fine job educating. Well, thanks. That was the key here. I would love to go back. Aw. Yeah, so you can go to craft shows now, or not craft shows. Your yard sales or garage sales now. This weekend, it's raining today, but yesterday was like hundreds of craft shows, and they had a big thing on at one of the major centers here in London, and everybody around them had craft shows, and it was great. Yeah, so like have a look for baskets, or you can buy almost anything at a craft show, really. Does anybody else have any more questions? Thanks. Yeah, right. Only do handmade craft shows if you can, if you make the things yourself. The last thing I want to do is compete with somebody that makes other stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, let me just scroll in and make sure I got all my questions answered here. I think education, and if you've never done craft shows before, make the leap. But make the leap with thoughts that you've learned something today. So look at craft shows, or look what you have. Oftentimes they provide tables, so you don't have to worry about tables. I'm looking here. Hey guys. What I would say the snowman wreaths are the most popular. Absolutely the most popular. I did a craft show last year and only had one wreath sold, and it was a disappointment. Oh, Dottie, that's too bad. I've been asked to do it again, but I'm not sure. You know, every year is different. So during COVID, there was no craft shows, of course. So the first craft show after COVID, people were really reluctant to spend a whole lot of money. It was probably the least amount of money I made at the London Christmas Craft Show. And it was disappointing. It just meant that I couldn't take 3 vacations in like over January, February, March. I could only take 2. Yeah, so it's not going to be the same every year, and it's totally dependent on who comes to the craft show. We provided plastic shopping buckets. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, anything that you can give to people that promotes your space, because they'll be walking around the craft show, and they'll somebody will say, "Hey, where did you get that cool bag?" And they'll say, "Oh, I got it at Creations by Karen." Yeah, so it's really important that you have something that stands out amongst everybody else that is at the craft show. Yeah, and I have the same space that I've had for quite a few years. People know that that's where I'm going to be, and they come in the front door and go directly to my booth, especially on the Thursday or Friday. They're diehard gift buyers, and they know that I have the best selection on Thursday and Friday. Gets kind of slim on Sunday, so, and often I have a 50% off sale on the Sunday just to get rid of the stock, because a lot of stock will go expire before next year, so I can't hold it for next year. Do you have to charge sales tax at a craft show? Yeah, I do. Yep. Yeah, so I have a square that has a sales tax that you can add it, and it's done separately. It's fun. Yeah, craft shows are fun. I always have like at least one other person. My girlfriend Sandy always comes and helps me, and we're dressed alike. Always had, I think this year we had white hoodies and our red aprons on it. And she's really good about talking to everybody, and I think she enjoys it as well. So I always have 2 people in my booth, sometimes 3. This year I had 3 or more at one time, because it's crazy. It's bedlam. Anybody else? Okay, so I hope you got some good information today about craft shows. Spend the time. If it's raining on a Sunday and you can make some crafts in your basement, make ahead stuff, go ahead and do that. And so I'm going to show you all this stuff that I got, and I'm going to make some stuff with it that I can make ahead for my craft show in 2024. Thanks, Diane. If anybody else has some questions specifically, just email me, and I'd be happy to answer your questions. And until then, happy crafting. And I know my hairdresser's like, why are you talking about Christmas craft shows? Taking cards really boosted our sales. A lot of people I find now, sorry guys, I think a lot of people now have phones, right? And so they can just scan. Yeah, I have a QR code that they can just scan. So it used to irritate me that I'd see cards going out to my car, so I don't use cards too much anymore. For older people that don't have phones, yeah, I have cards, but not as many as I used to. Definitely. Let me see. We got questions. We do Christmas in July, yeah. They did Christmas in July last year at the market. Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, I'll miss the market this July. But anyway, it is what it is. Okay, guys, you have a really good day, and get started on your Christmas craft shows by making some stuff ahead of time. And I look forward to seeing you again.